2026 is going to be one of the biggest years in Pokemon Go history. 10 years of the game. So today I'm going to get you prepared with the top 26 tips of Pokemon Go 2026. Starting with tip number 1, get ready to spend. This year in 2026, we can all expect way more paid events, paid raid weekends, paid stuff. In 2025, Scopely bought the game for $4 billion. So in 2026, they're going to try to make as much of their money back as possible. And we've already seen that in Pokemon Go with a rise of paid features, paid events, paid tickets, and a big focus on paid features like raids. So if you have a budget for how much you want to spend on a monthly basis on Pokemon Go, I would say figure that out and plan it accordingly, because they're going to give you everything you could have ever wanted to spend on this year, most likely. And when you do spend, I would highly recommend playing and spending on the right events, not the useless ones, and paying for the right things during big events. For example, we recently had the Kyurem raid weekend, but there were also Reshiram and Zekrom raids, which makes sense because you technically need those to fuse Kyurem, but like, it's not really what you needed. You needed the Kyurem candy and the Kyurem energy. Not the Zekrom and Reshiram. But they put those raids in front of your face so that hopefully you would raid those, which would pull your money and resources away from Kyurem, which is what you actually needed, so you would overspend to get both. So expect kind of a lot of that in 2026, where we're going to see, I guess you could call it creative monetization. Number 2, always Mega Evolve before raiding. I've given this tip literally every year since the Mega Rework update happened so many years ago, and I'll keep giving this tip because it's one of the best for Pokemon Go ever. Let me show you something. If we go into my tags, I've got 2 different tags. I've got a Mega tag, which every day I go through and I Mega Evolve each of these Pokemon once, because I have this Max Mega tag with 82 Pokemon, and inside are all Pokemon that I have Mega Evolved every single day until they got to max level Mega. You can access that by pressing the little Mega Evolution icon, and the way that you get to max level Mega is by Mega Evolving a Pokemon once a day for 90 days. And as you can see, all these 82 Pokemon I've gotten to max level Mega, and the reason why I've done that is because of the bonuses. You get huge bonuses when you have a max level Mega Pokemon active. You get more candy, more XL candy, higher XP per catch, and it's cheaper and quicker to Mega Evolve a Pokemon. They basically require less Mega energy. Now, the important thing here, though, is if Larvitar Community Day is happening, which means a Rock-type Pokemon spawning more in the wild, I'm going to want to Mega Evolve a max level Mega Rock-type Pokemon. I could use Aerodactyl. And when this Pokemon is Mega Evolved, that's when I get all of these bonuses, only for Pokemon that are of the same typing as the Mega. So, if I Mega Evolve my Aerodactyl during a Larvitar Community Day, I'm going to get the extra candy, the extra XL candy, and extra XP when catching Larvitar, because I have an active max level Mega that's also the same type as Larvitar. And this is the best tip I could give for most events. Always use a Mega Pokemon that matches the typing of the Pokemon spawning in the wild. And if you can, do Mega raids, get the Mega energy, or do it through field research or by walking Pokemon so that you can get your Mega Pokemon to max level. As you can see, I've got like 4 days left on a lot of these Garchomp, and I literally have 0 Mega energy. So I have to wait until this Mega Evolve button gets down to 0 so I can evolve it. But once I get them to max level Mega, I'll be able to evolve with 0 energy to Mega Evolve with 0 energy once every, I think, 3 days. It's really convenient having your Megas at max level. Tip number 3, get ready for new features. One of the upsides of Scopely taking over Pokemon Go that we saw in 2025 was a huge flow of brand new features in Pokemon Go. One of the recent ones you can see right here, we've got weekly challenges where you can complete certain tasks with people on your friends list and get rewards. Or this feature, which is called Forever Friends, which allows you to remote trade. This brought 2 features, Forever Friends and remote trading, something we've been asking for since the beginning of the game. Scopely brought that. There's another new feature where you can take a picture with a Pokemon from the login screen. I guess it's for new players. So I would highly recommend staying up to date with Pokemon Go, especially as new big features and updates are released, because there's a lot of little updates that are coming out, which have been so awesome and so fun and so great, and we can expect a lot more of those going into 2026. And I assume, for some reasons, which I'll talk about later in the video, we'll probably end up seeing some really major features and some major updates. One that I'm predicting, I'll predict it right now, a bicycle, which 100% prediction, this is backed by no research data or data mining, but a bicycle that you can spend Pokecoins on that allows you to bicycle around the map. legalized spoofing. I think we'll see that this year. We'll see. Number 4, use tags. If you go into your Pokemon inventory and swipe left, you have all of your tags, and I would seriously recommend using these because as more and more features come to Pokemon Go, they allow you to do more and more things with your Pokemon, like the Mega and Max Mega feature. I've got a trade tag, so Pokemon that are rare that I would like to trade, we got that. Oh wait, this is actually... I can delete this. Never mind. I've got a tag for Pokemon that are level 50, kind of just to have, but you do need to power up Pokemon to level 50 on your way to level 80, so that's important. This is a really important one. I've got a tag for Pokemon that I want to bottle cap, because again, all these new features come to Pokemon Go, and they allow you to interact with your Pokemon or do cool things with your Pokemon, like Forever Trade, or Bottle Cap, or Lucky Trade with a Lucky Trinket. So tagging Pokemon will prepare you to actually take advantage of these features, because if you're overwhelmed by a bunch of new features and your Pokemon aren't organized, and these new cool things and opportunities are going to come to you in game and you're not going to use them because there's too much chaos, not enough organization. So tagging helps you organize your Pokemon and get them ready for all these amazing features that we have and that we're going to have. Listen, the game is already getting sort of complex. It's going to get even more complex as they add more and more features. So keeping your Pokemon organized through tags is just going to help you navigate the game, especially this year, a lot better. Number 5, exclusive backgrounds. If you go into your Pokemon inventory, you click search, you click see more, and you scroll down, you have location background and special background. And these are things that got introduced, I think in 2023 during the Hoenn tour, if I'm not mistaken, but it's basically a background behind the Pokemon. So you've got a shiny, and then you've got these cool like location card or special backgrounds, depending on if you caught it in a location or not. Well, here's the thing. Check this out. My Gigantamax Snorlax with the background. They're cool. This is the new highest rarity tier in Pokemon Go going into 2026. It used to be wild spawns like Charizards way back in the day, and then that got less exciting. So then they introduced shiny Pokemon, and it was shiny Pokemon forever. That got less exciting. Then we had a bunch of things like shiny legendaries, shadow shiny Pokemon, lucky shiny Pokemon, all these different ways to get more and more rare Pokemon. And now the big thing are special and location backgrounds. The more rare ones technically being the location card backgrounds, just because you have to go to a physical location to get these backgrounds. They're very highly sought after and like extremely tradable. But these special background Pokemon, again, have become like the #1 in terms of rarity, and Pokemon Go has brought them out a lot, mainly because these get people spending. Like I personally spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on raid passes trying to get special background shinies because they're so rare. And typically the special backgrounds are only for one specific time period, which means unlike shiny Pokemon or costume Pokemon, the special backgrounds don't really come back. And if they do, I mean, they don't. I don't think we've ever had a special background come back. So now like the rarest thing that you could get technically is like a shiny 100% IV special background costume Pokemon, you know, or something like that. But the special background is the big thing. The nice part is you don't have to do raids to get all of them. They've been introducing special background Pokemon during community day events, and they've been fantastic. The most recent community day, which I missed, had a really, really nice background, which I saw on Fleece King's Twitter, so thank you to him for tweeting that. But they're really cool, primarily in raids, but you can get them in the wild, I think in field research, during community day events. They are definitely worth hunting, and they are now kind of the most rare Pokemon going into 2026. Number 6, do not sleep on mini events. When you think back at like your biggest and best memories in Pokemon Go, it's typically around big events like Go Fest, Go Wild Area, Safari Zone if you were playing back then. But the thing that really keeps the game going and interesting throughout all of the years or all the little mini events. And honestly, if you're trying to min-max Pokemon Go and get the most out of your gameplay, it's the mini events that are going to give you that. Mini events are like spotlight hours every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, where one specific Pokemon spawns more in the wild. So if you need the shiny, it's going to be out there. It's like a mini community day minus the boosted shiny odds. And then there's one bonus alongside that. So maybe it's 2 times catch Stardust for 1 hour with one specific Pokemon spawning in the wild. So these events are great because you can hunt the Pokemon you want, if it's a Pokemon you want, and you can get more of whatever the bonus is. We also have Max Mondays, where there's Dynamax Pokemon in the Dynamax raids, more on Monday during, I think, 6 to 7. We've got raid hours on Wednesdays, which is all about legendary Pokemon, more legendary raids from 6 to 7. A lot of these little events are popping up. And then there's also smaller events like the one that we're having right now as I record this, which is like the high voltage event, which has has like, I think a new Pokemon, a new shiny, some field research, nothing really too exciting or groundbreaking, but there's some new stuff and there's some bonuses, and it makes like electric type Pokemon easier to hunt, for example. And then of course, community days continue to be one of the most advantageous days to play in Pokemon Go since they were released years ago, but also going into 2026. Community day events bring boosted shiny rates, a ton of spawns, really good bonuses, and that's something we saw in 2025. The bonuses for the community day events became really good, and they're very good going into 2026. So you've got the community days, community day classics. We get sometimes new shiny Pokemon. We get new moves that make Pokemon meta relevant. And then we get old Pokemon during the classic events that are very meta relevant. And, you know, it's like valuable candy. They're really good events. So these smaller events that happen on like a weekly or monthly basis, definitely don't phase them out of your 2026 strategy. Number 7, stack your research rewards. I'll show you what I mean by that. If I go into my Today tab, as you can see at the top, there's a little claim reward button. And if I click that, it will give me a Christmas Pikachu. But how did I get a Christmas Pikachu when it's January when I'm recording this? It's because if you do a field research task and you encounter a Pokemon from field research and then you flee, it will go into what's called your field research stack, which is that thing at the top there. So you can go back and re-encounter it and re-catch it later. You can have up to 100 Pokemon in your field research stack, and I would highly recommend keeping a stack because sometimes you need to catch a Pokemon. Sometimes you need an extra 2 nice throws to finish a task. Sometimes you need to catch 10 different species of Pokemon and you have 20 in your field research task, or your stack rather. Or also too, the most strategic way to do this, let's say you need more Stardust. So you save up a bunch of Pokemon in your field research stack, maybe Pokemon that give you extra Stardust like Chimecho or Shelder, and then when there's a double or triple Stardust event for catching Pokemon, you just catch your entire research stack during that event and you just get a ton of extra Stardust. So the research stack strategy has been a strategy for years, and in 2026, it continues to be. Tip number 8, get ready to spend on premium items. We had some very, very cool premium items come to the game last year in premium features, and things like the Lucky Trinket, which you can buy technically, and then you can use to guarantee a lucky trade with a friend. Super useful, very valuable. Or the Silver Bottle Cap, which you could buy and then use to get 1 stat of a Pokemon's IVs to 15, so you can like turn a bad IV shiny into a Shundo. Or the Golden Bottle Cap, which allows you to turn all 3 IVs to 15, so you could take a 1/1/1 IV shiny and make it a Shundo. These are great game-changing features, but you do have to pay for them, and that's something that we can expect going into 2026. We will probably see the return of Lucky Trinkets this year, definitely of Silver and Golden Bottle Caps, which are some of the most useful items in the entire game. And I'm sure there's going to be more things, more Master Balls. There might even be new balls or new features or new items like a bicycle. Again, Scopely paid a lot of money for Pokemon Go, and they're trying to monetize the game in a way where it's fun for all of us, but they're also making their money back. And these premium items are kind of the perfect thing, because I would happily spend $20 on a Golden Bottle Cap and get a Shundo, instead of spending $1,000 on raids to maybe get a Shundo, you know? And it's also important to know how these are typically released, especially again, going into 2026, where I think we're gonna see a lot of them. Typically, if you click your research, you go over to events, your Go Pass Deluxe, this is where these premium items are. If you check into your rewards, I bought the premium track, so I have the basic and the deluxe version. They are typically always on the deluxe version, and they're usually at rank 100. Like right now, as you can see, rank 100. On the left side, which is the free side, I get a free Dialga encounter, which is great. On the right side, the paid side, I get a Lucky Trinket. So I do have to pay money. It's what, $3 to $5. Sometimes it's $7, sometimes it's 10 or 20. Kind of depends on whatever the item is. But this is where you find these things. So like, I will definitely be grinding this so that I can get my Lucky Trinket, so I can guarantee a lucky trade, because lucky trades are the best ways and most efficient ways to get a Shundo in Pokemon Go. And they're just great. And this guarantees a lucky trade. And that's something we've never been able to do before. So that's cool. And again, probably something we're going to see a lot of in 2026. So if you have the money to spend and you have budget for Pokemon Go for the game, this is definitely a great way to spend it, because these premium items are like premium for a reason. They're very useful. Number 9, Shadow Pokemon are still OP. Another tip I give every year is to prioritize Shadow Pokemon, because they are the best in Pokemon Go, considering their damage is boosted by 20%. They're also 20% squishy. this year. But Shadow Pokemon are great. They continue to be great, and they're worth hunting and worth powering up and worth working on. The thing about Shadow Pokemon to be aware of is A, you cannot trade them. B, you cannot use a bottle cap on them. So if you want to get a Shundo Shadow Pokemon, you have to get that organically. But they're useful in PvP. They're useful in raids. They're great to look at. The Shadow Shinies are very cool and very rare and collectible. They're really worth it. And the important thing, though, is if you want to actually use them, when you catch a Shadow Pokemon, you get the move Frustration on that Shadow, and you cannot get it off. The only time you can get Frustration off of a Shadow Pokemon is during a specific Team Go Rocket takeover event, where you basically get the ability to do that. So you want to take your Shadow Pokemon, you want to tag them when you catch them, and you can tag them like, I don't know, you can tag them whatever you want, so that you remember when the event comes around that allows you to TM Frustration off of your Shadow Pokemon, you remember which ones, and then you can just mass TM all of them so that you can make them actually like useful Pokemon. Because Shadow Pokemon are great, you just got to get Frustration off, and we consistently have new Shadow Pokemon coming to Pokemon Go, new Shadow Legendaries. That's another thing. Shadow Raids are definitely a thing, and in 2025, last year, Shadow Raids, you could not remote raid them at the beginning of the year, but by the end of the year, you can remote raid them. So in 2026, you'll be able to remote raid Shadow Raids, and those are going to have higher IV floors as well, which gives you a better shot at a Shadow Shundo or a useful Shadow Pokemon. And we're going to have probably a lot more Shadow Raid events because they're going to try to monetize the game more, and that's going to be a big thing to look after. So Shadow Pokemon in 2026 will be big. Number 10, release of Gen 10 is this year. This year is a big year because it's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, and also Gen 10 should be coming out this year, right? Like, my sources are correct when I say that. So just so you know, we definitely will not be getting the full generation released into Pokemon Go. That's just not how they do things. But when Gen 10 does come out, we probably will get some or one Gen 10 Pokemon. And these might be really, really relevant ones. And they could completely shake up the meta relevancy in Pokemon Go for whatever typing they end up being. So something worth thinking about and worth staying up to date for. Also, we all love new Pokemon releases in Pokemon Go, especially when it's a new generation release. And they do this in kind of a boring way now because they need to drip Pokemon in so that there's always something new to release, even when, you know, we wait a couple years for new Pokemon to release in like the main series. So don't expect all of Gen 10 to be released this year in 2026, but expect some. And when that does get announced, get ready, get hyped, come back to the game and catch the new Pokemon, because I'm sure they'll be very cool. Tip 11, the 10-year anniversary is this year. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon Go this year, which is insane to think about. And I would like to think, especially now that Scopely has control of the game, they're going to do something very, very exciting and very cool for the 10-year anniversary, whether it's a big event or a huge new feature release or something. We just have to assume that the 10-year anniversary should be insane. So if you're thinking about playing Pokemon Go at all this year, maybe you play a little bit, maybe you haven't played in a while, I would stay tuned. The 10th anniversary is in June or July of this year. So this summer, which is also Go Fest season, come back to the game and check in, because it might be the craziest time ever in-game for Pokemon Go. And I don't know, you know, when's the next decade anniversary at 20 years, 10 years from now? And who knows if any of us will be playing the game still, and who knows if the game will still be around. So this is a really, really big deal, 10-year anniversary. So be ready for that and come back to the game this summer to see what's happening. Number 12, build one strong team per type. With the way that Pokemon battling works, if there's a fire type Pokemon in raids, you're gonna wanna use either rock type Pokemon or water type Pokemon against it, right? Like, the typing of Pokemon makes a difference when battling, and that's just how Pokemon works. So in Pokemon Go, especially this year when we have much bigger and more powerful raid bosses coming in, like the Gigantamax raids, or we've got like these like fusion raids or these primals, which I'm sure are going to come back. You're going to want to build out teams that are good, you know, and you're going to want to focus on building out some top Pokemon for each and every typing, because some Pokemon might require fire typing and flying, and you might only have 2 good fire type Pokemon, but you've got 8 good flying types, so you can have a full team mashed together. I'll have another video coming out very soon talking about the best Pokemon to power up in 2026, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But I would highly recommend just looking at every single typing and making sure that you have a handful of Pokemon, 3 to 6, that are good for each and every typing, except for like normal typing. You don't really need normal type Pokemon. But everything else, especially the big ones like fire, grass, water, dragon, rock, ground. Like, these are really, really important typings. Make sure you have at least 3 to 6 Pokemon that are powered up and good for those teams. And if you don't, prioritize those Pokemon throughout the year as they're released in raids, in the field research, in the wild, during community day events. This kind of gives you like some sort of compass on where to go with what you should catch this year. If you don't have a great team of fire-type Pokemon, keep your eye out for fire-type Pokemon events or community days or raid events so that you can build those out. 13, Daily Adventure Incense. It's a great feature, mainly because it's like the only free incense that you get. And what happens during Pokemon Go events and seasons, sometimes your daily incense will go from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes to an hour. Or is it 30 minutes now? I don't know, but it's all over the place. And a lot of the times in your Go Pass, there's a tier that allows you to unlock a longer daily incense duration. So once you pass tier 50, for example, like you get like 2 times daily incense duration. So the game, like Pokemon Go, has been giving a lot of incentives to use the daily incense and basically giving you free time on your incense through things like the Go Battle Pass. So I would highly recommend keeping up to date with that and using your daily incense, especially because it is one of the only ways in Pokemon Go to get free legendary Pokemon. Continues to be one of the only ways because the Galarian legendary birds still spawn on the daily incense and they can spawn shiny, which is very exciting. So one of the best ways to get free legendaries. The legendaries are actually kind of useful and they're very cool looking, extremely rare. And again, your daily incense is boosted a lot, either from the Go Pass or other events throughout the year. Number 14, Dynamax Pokemon will be huge. When Dynamax raids were released, it was kind of like, it was sort of exciting for the first like week. And then we all realized like, this is maybe not like, it's not that cool of a feature, or like it doesn't really, you don't really need many Dynamax Pokemon. You know, it was kind of like brushed off, but they definitely saw some success with Dynamax raids and events last year, and I think they're going to bring them back in a big way. What we saw last year was the release of Eternitus exclusively in I guess it was like, whatever, it has its own name, but like it basically exclusively in the Dynamax raid system. So a big Pokemon exclusively into the Dynamax raid system, and which was really, really exciting, we saw Gigantamax Pokemon with special backgrounds, and they're probably one of the coolest backgrounds we got throughout all of 2025. So I can fully expect to see a huge focus on Dynamax raids going into 2026. We'll probably see some exclusive releases. We'll see a lot more Gigantamax Pokemon, the ones that we don't have. And a quick reminder, any Pokemon can be a Dynamax, but only a specific list can be Gigantamax. So we have a couple of Gigantamax Pokemon that we still haven't had in the game, and we'll probably see a lot of them coming in 2026. Now, the reason why I think this year we're going to have a lot of Dynamax action is because it's so expensive. And again, they're looking for creative ways to monetize. Dynamax raids, you can remote raid them, but you don't just need raid passes. You need what are called maxed particles. And you do get some for free. You can get some every single day from walking, and then you can get some every single day by going to a power spot, which is like the little pink thing on the map, and then just collecting the max particles. So you can get free ones per day, but you can only store a certain amount at a time, which, you know, makes it so that you can't have too many, unfortunately. And during big raid day events like the Eternitus raid weekend, if you used your free ones, you could do maybe one raid. Like, it was not nearly enough. So during the big weekends and the big events, these do get very expensive because you have to buy max particle packs and raid passes. And if you're in a small group of people and you really need the extra damage, you can buy what are called max mushrooms, which help you and I think your friends deal more damage in Gigantamax raids, which is and Dynamax raids, which is like really helpful if you need the extra boost. So I do think Dynamax and Gigantamax raids are going to be very cool this year, and we're going to have a lot of cool releases, but they're very expensive, so be warned. 15, do not waste your Stardust. As I keep saying in this video, in 2026, I can expect some huge releases in games, some maybe new Pokemon, different Pokemon, exclusive Pokemon. It's going to be awesome. We've got new megas and all this fun stuff. So 2026, a lot of Pokemon are coming to the game, which means that we'll probably have a lot of very good Pokemon that will shift the meta a bit. So you're not going to want to just waste your Stardust this year. You're probably going to want to save as much Stardust as possible so that you can use it on these new amazing Pokemon when they do get released and do change the meta up a little bit. 16, interact with your friends daily. I showed it before, but there's a new feature called Forever Friends. And the way that you get Forever Friends is by first getting to best friends with the person, which takes a long time, like several months worth of daily interaction to get to best friends. And then once you get to best friends, in order to get to forever friends, you have to interact with somebody once a day for 90 days. So it takes another 3 months to get to forever friends. But when you get to best friends, it's great because the amount of Stardust it costs to do a trade, even like special trades, is significantly less. Also, you can become lucky friends with someone once you get to best friends, which means the next raid that you do with the person is guaranteed to be lucky. Very, very important. And again, forever friends allows you to remote trade. So you can become lucky friends with somebody at best friends, work to get to, forever friends, and then once you reach forever friends, you can do a remote lucky trade with that person, which is so useful. And remote trading is the #1 feature that has been begged for. That and being able to delete eggs out of your inventory are like the 2 most asked for features ever. So remote trading, we have it. It's here. It's amazing that we have this finally, but to get there, you do need to interact with your friends every day. What is interacting? It's doing a PvP battle with like a battle against your friend. It's sending a gift or opening a gift. It's trading. It's doing a raid. So interact with your friends every single day, especially the ones that you play with or that like are active, so that you can get to best friends, you can get those lucky trades, and then you can get to forever friends, and then you can do the remote lucky trades. This is a huge feature. It's probably one of the best features we've ever had. But the only way to get it is by interacting with your friends. Oh, also real quick, friendship is still the #1 way to get XP for free in Pokemon Go. Every time you level up your friends, your friend level, you get a bunch of XP for that. And you get a lot of XP for best friends. So like it's worth adding people, filling up your friends list, and then just continuously working everyone in your friends list up to best friends to cash in on that extra free XP. 17, save your elite TMs. Once again, a lot of amazing Pokemon are coming out this year or coming back this year, and your elite TMs, which you can get through paid community day tickets or sometimes free events, they come out. An elite TM basically allows you to get a move on a Pokemon that is no longer available to that Pokemon. Certain moves are exclusive to the time with which they are released, or like, during community day, you can get a special community day move, but you can only get it during the community day hours. So elite TMs allow you to get these exclusive moves on Pokemon, even when they're not technically allowed to get them. Very useful item. It is definitely a premium item. And again, with all of these new releases coming to Pokemon Go, we'll probably have new moves, new adventure effects, new things to do. And some of them might require elite TMs. So do not burn them, hold on to them, and wait for the right moment. 18. New Mega Pokemon are coming. There were new Mega Pokemon recently announced in Pokemon Legends Z through A. They include Mega Dragonite, Mega Chestnut, Mega Delphox, and Mega Greninja. We have not seen these added to Pokemon Go quite yet, but we will maybe see them this year. And also too, there was, let me see, some Pokemon I think that were inside of the Mega Evolution Perfect Order set, which is a new Pokemon card set. And I think we have some new Megas debuting in that set. They should be Mega Zygarde, Mega Starmie, Mega Clefable, and Mega Skarmory. So if my list right here is correct, that is 8 new Mega Pokemon that were recently released in the Pokemon universe that will come to Go. And if you know, Mega Pokemon tend to be some of the most meta-relevant Pokemon of a specific typing. So, the best fire type attacker in Pokemon Go is probably a Mega Pokemon. The only caveat is you can only have 1 active Mega Pokemon at a time. So you can't have like a team of Mega Charizard. You can only have 1 Mega Charizard, but they're very useful. And I talked about Mega Pokemon earlier. They're really, really great to have max level because they just help you play the game more efficiently. So some new Mega Pokemon coming out this year, possibly. Stay tuned for them. I will obviously announce them here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. And some of them might be meta-relevant, meta-shifting, and worth going after. 19, use Campfire. Niantic released this feature called Campfire, which is essentially like Pokemon's social media thing. It allows you to coordinate with local players and your local community to meet up and play for specific events and community day events. It's a really great way to find your local community. Also, too, you can use the map on Campfire to find raids, Dynamax, Gigantamax, legendary raids. You can look across your city and see where the nearest Sudowoodo raid is. It's really convenient if you're trying to hunt raids. And it also shows a bunch of other different things. It's kind of like a heat map. So really, really useful. I think it's a very underrated feature, but I think more and more people begin to use it and understand it's like really helpful. So this year, I would definitely recommend it, especially because I think we'll have a lot of raids. 20, keep event, costume, and background Pokemon for trades. I predict this year in 2026, we are going to see a lot of event, costume, and background Pokemon because they're exclusive, people spend money on them, and they're exciting, and we need exciting things in the game. The thing is, though, if we get a lot of them throughout the year, there's going to be a lot that most people end up missing just because, like, you know, if there's only one costume in the year, everyone's going to log in for that one costume. But if there's 100 different ones, it probably won't affect your gameplay that much, which means you're probably going to miss a lot of the costumes. So catching them, tagging them for trade, and keeping them so that you can trade to people is going to be great, especially if you have a fiance that really loves those cute costume Pokemon but doesn't quite want to log in to catch them. So personal experience, catch the cool exclusive Pokemon, hold on to a couple of them, and trade them to your friends or fiancés as they are requested. 21, walk the right buddy. The buddy Pokemon feature is one of the most underrated features in the game just because it kind of just comes off like a aesthetic thing. You know, like if we look in my profile, it's like me and Mewtwo standing next to each other, and that's like cool, right? But the big thing with buddy Pokemon is the fact that by walking them, you can get candy, which is really, really great. So 10 kilometers to walk, I think it's usually 20 kilometers. This thing has a Poffin on it, but 10 kilometers to walk, and I get a Mewtwo candy, which is really useful if you need candy. And honestly, if you were being strategic, you probably should just walk Kyurem, which gives you Kyurem candy, which is useful for the adventure effects like Free Shock, which is, in my opinion, one of the most useful adventure effects. Or if you were really smart, you would walk Palkia, which gives you Palkia candy, which you can use for the adventure effect Spatial Rend, which I think is the most useful adventure effect in Pokemon Go. These kind of Pokemon and using your buddy Pokemon to like farm candy for them is a really good strategy. You also get Mega Energy by walking a specific Pokemon. So, you know, if I wanted to walk my Garchomp because I've got 0 Mega Energy, I could walk the Garchomp. Here, I'll show you. I know this has a Poffin, I don't really care. We will walk this big Garchomp. And then as you can see, we get 1 candy and 25 Mega Energy for every 5 kilometers I walk. So it's not like you know, like a negligible amount. Like this is like legit. Like if I were to walk 5 kilometers, it would allow me to Mega Evolve once, which is very helpful when trying to get these things to max level Mega. So even though Mega Pokemon aren't in raids or they haven't been around in a while, you can always walk a Pokemon and earn Mega Energy that way for free, might I add, which can help you level up your Megas. And this is probably one of the most underrated tips of the entire video because the Mega Pokemon feature is so useful and so important, and it has been for years, and it will be until the end of time. So you want to get as many Pokemon to max level as possible because that's never going away. And to do that, walking Pokemon to get free Mega Energy is the most efficient, easiest way to get your Megas to max level. So I'm not doing it because I'm a hypocrite, but I would recommend you do it. Let's bring our Mewtwo back. I'm doing this because it's a Shundo, by the way, and I want to get it to best buddies because it's a Shundo. So don't blame me. Number 22, work on platinum medals. Recently, new levels were introduced in 2025 for Pokemon Go, bringing us all the way to level 80, which is great. Also great, you can see the requirements to get to level 80, and check that out. Earn 50 total platinum medals. Level 79 is earn 47 platinum medals. Basically, medals, platinum medals, are the new currency for the Pokemon Go level system. Because obviously you do need XP to get to level 80, but they rebalanced the XP system where you don't actually need that much XP to get all the way to level 50 or to level 60, 70, 80. Like it's not as much, not nearly as much as it was before. It's much easier to get there now, especially because there's so many events in Pokemon Go where that, you know, you have boosted XP or raids or friendship levels and stuff. So like getting XP in Pokemon Go isn't that hard anymore. What is hard are platinum medals because it requires like serious focused gameplay on like specific tasks. And again, the hardest thing to get to level 80 now are these platinums. To check your medals, just go to your profile and scroll down, and then you can see all your event medals, and then you can see all of your actual like real medals that you're working towards. So you need 50 platinums in order to get there. I myself, I think I might have 50. These count, by the way. Basically, you just have to catch like 2,500 Pokemon of each typing. The cool thing about these, though, is as you can see, these medals actually give you a catch bonus for those specific Pokemon. So this, you know, I've caught 24,000 electric type Pokemon. And once I got to 2,500, it gave me a +4 electric type catch bonus. So with this platinum medal, I actually catch electric type Pokemon easier, which is a really, really cool little bonus kind of Easter egg feature almost. So get these to Platinum. You do that literally just by catching Pokemon. So just catch as many Pokemon as you can. Or let's say you need more flying type Pokemon and there's a community day event or a spotlight hour event with a flying type Pokemon featured, play that, which is why I had that tip earlier, which is like, don't disregard smaller events. And then there's always not always, but there's sometimes new medals added to the game. And I've got some, I'll never get this one. I'll never get that one. I only have one win on a showcase, but get your platinum medals up. 23, Go Battle League. It's a feature that's not very popular. I don't play it at all. For those of you who do, congrats and good job, because in 2026, Go Battle League continues to be the #1 way to get Stardust in Pokemon Go, which is one of the most important resources, especially with all of these new amazing Pokemon coming out. You're going to need Stardust in order to get them to max. So PvP will be your best friend in 2026 when farming more dust. I would highly recommend it. 24, do not ignore the little tasks. I showed it earlier, but there's a new feature in Pokemon Go where you can complete in-game challenges with your friends and earn rewards. You can get actually some really good rewards from that. You can also get really good rewards from features like the Showcase feature, where you just drop Pokemon in a showcase, or Field Research, which are free tasks that give you encounters with specific Pokemon, that give you XP, balls, Mega Energy, and a lot of the times the Field Research will be themed for whatever event is currently happening. So right now, when I'm recording this, like there's a lot of very easy to complete Field Research tasks, and they give encounters with Electric type Pokemon, which is pretty cool. So these little tasks and like little features in Pokemon Go that are like not too exciting, but just something to do, a lot of them yield really good results and like yield really good rewards if you interact with them on a consistent enough basis. So this year in 2026, that will not change. And as the game gets more expensive through premium events, premium feature, premium raids, as the game gets more expensive, these features stay cheap and free, which is something to really focus on, especially if you're on a budget for Pokemon Go, is to maximize on these like free to play or cheaper features, which are all these like little tasks that you can do that again, give some really great rewards. So don't miss them this year. 25. Manage your storage space. Pokemon Go is consistently expanding the storage space. I currently can store 10,050 Pokemon, which is very cool, but this space fills up. So I would highly recommend consistently going through and tagging Pokemon, transferring Pokemon, and just making more space so that you can actually play the game efficiently. Because if a big event happens like Go Fest and you only have 10 Pokemon storage, you're gonna have to transfer Pokemon every minute, and it's gonna be like the worst event ever. So keep at least 100 space available, couple hundred if you can. And here you can steal this. I have a search string that I search that is this. So I know all these Pokemon I can transfer, and it allows me to search that search string after every Go Plus session, or every time I go out and play. I can just use that search string and I can clear out everything, and it's easy as that. So here is what the search string is, by the way. I'll let you screenshot it. It's just H0 and exclamation point shiny and exclamation point video, which basically means all the Pokemon caught within the last 24 hours minus shiny Pokemon, Pokemon tagged with the tag video, which is what I use to record videos, Pokemon tagged with a tag trade. It also it doesn't include special backgrounds, location. I wonder if I can. Oh yeah, right there. It's literally at the bottom. Special backgrounds, location backgrounds, 4-star Pokemon. Like that's kind of like what my tag filters out. So feel free to take that tag and make it your own. The way that you do that, by the way, you just you search something and then it will show up in like right here, and then you just press and hold it. You like press and hold the search, and then it will pin it. So that's how you do that. And tip 26, adventure effects. Adventure effects are some of the most useless things you can have in Pokemon Go, although they are very expensive. So it's important to know what the adventure effects are, which ones are most useful, and ultimately which raids to spend your money on, because you need legendary candy to fuel adventure effects. Currently, there are 8 different adventure effects in Pokemon Go. We've got Roar of Time, which is on Origin Form Dialga, which allows you to pause your premium items. We've got Spatial Rend on Origin Form Palkia, which allows you to double the distance like for Pokemon spawns. Most useful in my opinion. You've got Sunsteel Strike on Duskmane Necrozma, which like spawns sunny Pokemon. It kind of sucks. You got Dawnwings Necrozma with Moongeist Beam. spawns, nighttime spawns, kind of sucks. You've got Black Kyurem with Freeze Shock, which I think is the second most useful, which basically brings up the catch rate on Pokemon, including legendaries and raids, and prevents Pokemon from dodging. So if you're trying to catch Kyogre and it's constantly going left to right, you use Freeze Shock, it doesn't move. It's great. White Kyurem has Ice Burn, which brings the catch rate up on Pokemon and then makes the circle when catching Pokemon move a lot slower. Very helpful for hitting Excellence. You've got Crown Sword Zacian with Behemoth Blade, Crown Shield Zamazenta with Behemoth Bash. I think those have something to do with Dynamax raids and Gigantamax raids. All of them are very cool. They're all useful in their own way, and it definitely depends on your play style which ones are more or less useful. Again, for me, Freeze Shock and Spatial Rend are the best, but they're really, really useful, and they inform, at least for me, when I should go really hard. So during this Kyurem raid weekend, I wish I went way harder during it because I desperately need Kyurem candy, because Kyurem candy is what's used to fuel Freeze Shock, which is one of my favorite adventure effects because it makes catching legendary Pokemon in raids very, very easy and like stress-free. So that's a big thing there, is know which adventure effects you like and want to use the most. And then whenever the legendary Pokemon come back around that fuel that adventure effect, you should go really hard on that in the raid. Anytime Palkia comes back in raids, I go very hard because I use Spatial Rend all the time. So that's a big one, especially for 2026, because they will help you. These adventure effects will help you more efficiently play Pokemon Go throughout the entire year. And if you're excited for the year, make sure to subscribe and check out these other 2 videos on screen. I will see you all in year 10 of Pokemon Go.